Hello, Only1 here, and in the last episode of Reference to Zelda, we looked at every 90s kid's favorite trio of laboratory-created superheroines, the Powerpuff Girls. This time, we step into Azeroth and the World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is a massive game that both Only2 and I have spent countless hours playing. And while this is a world stuffed with the biggest lore in any game I've ever played, the creators had no problem adding a few funny things like parodies and references to several other games, movies, celebrities and so on. Needless to say, we're gonna check out Zelda references, and there's one particular NPC in this MMO that caught our attention early on. Back in the day before Deathwing caused a cataclysm and a whole world changed, there was a character in Angora Crater that was called Lincoln. The name alone is not, far from actually, the only thing referring to Zelda, as this little gnome is clearly dressed up with the game's equipment that comes the closest to Link's original attire. While Lincoln is a gnome, is probably because how small Link seems in the original game, and that he was supposed to be a really young boy. Plus, he wears a brown shirt, which Link did back in the NES days. But at the same time, he wears white tights, just like adult Link in Ocarina of Time. Just like many other NPCs in this game, Lincoln hands out quests, and the quest names, rewards and descriptions all pretty much refer to the Zelda series. He hands out quests called It's Dangerous to Go Alone and It's a Secret to Everybody, both being famous lines from the very first Zelda game. He wields a sword and a shield, and he wants to upgrade his sword somehow, which is something we've seen in several Zelda games. He starts out with Lincoln's training sword, and a training sword is something that has appeared in many Zelda games. He goes from there to Lincoln's superior sword, and then to Lincoln's tempered sword, pretty much taken straight from A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds' level 3 sword. After completing the quest chain, you can choose between 3 rewards. One of them is Spirit of Aquamentas, an orb to be held in offhand that increases your spell power. While the orb itself doesn't have a connection to the Zelda universe that I can see, the name Aquamentas probably refers to the very first boss you encountered in the Zelda series, Aquamentus. Another reward is Lincoln's Boomerang, which is a trinket that can be used to throw a boomerang to damage your enemies. Link has had a boomerang in pretty much every Zelda game there is, so it's not really a cryptic reference. However, why the boomerang wasn't a thrown weapon, I have no idea. The last reward you can pick is Lincoln's Sword of Mastery, which is clearly a reference to the legendary Master Sword. It has a special ability to blast the target with extra damage from time to time, which might refer to the Sword Beam that we have seen in various 2D titles, and even the Skyward Strike from Skyward Sword. Other references can be seen when Lincoln fights along with you during these quests, as he can utter a few words that are pretty much taken straight from the Zelda cartoon and the CDI games, like "Excuse me, princess," and "Oh boy, I'm so hungry I could eat a fire elemental." After the cataclysm, Lincoln can no longer be found in Angora Crater, and he no longer offers these quests. Now he's one of 6 partners in a daily quest called the Protectors of Hyjal in Mount Hyjal. Why he has been moved there, I don't know, but since Link is a Protector of Hyrule in the Zelda games, maybe they thought Hyjal was such a similar name that they placed him there. I don't know. What I do know is that he can even mount a brown horse this time around, that is referring to Epona. He also has a flying mount, and while it's not a red one, it's a griffin, meaning that he rides a bird. This patch came out in June 2011, before the release of Skyward Sword, but we knew by then that Link would ride a bird in the upcoming game, so it might not just be a coincidence. There are a bunch of different flying mounts in this game, so it's easy to imagine that this was meant as a reference to Skyward Sword. So what do you think about these references? Do you think it sounds cool? Have you even done these quests before? Or even met Link in World of Warcraft? Let us know in the comments. And thanks for watching.